Third graders, what's going on? It's Mr. Stanley. How are you? It's time to do some math today. Let's put on our math hoodies. I've seen those math brains grow this week, and I'm super excited to deliver a new lesson to you today called Subtraction Story Problems. And just like any story problem, I like to read it first and then figure out what it's asking me to do. Max has 38 toy cars. Sam has 53 toy cars. How many more toy cars does Sam have than Max? So usually with story problems, I like to find out the numbers, okay, or even who's involved. So I'm going to get a picture of a boy named Max in my head. I've coached and taught many a boy named Max. Same for Sam. I have a couple of Sams over the last few years. So I'm getting a picture in my head, and then the toy cars, obviously, is the item we're dealing with. And then there's the numbers. Max has 38. Sam has 53. How many more toy cars does Sam have than Max? And I'm just going to put a little green star by that word than, because that tells me that this story problem is a difference or a distance problem. So usually with subtraction, we're dealing with a difference or a distance sometimes. And we like to use the words more or less than. And that tells us right away as a reader that we're comparing two numbers together. So let's start by writing out an equation with a variable. Remember, a variable is a letter that we would use to substitute for something that we don't know. So if it's A, B, C, those are fine. In this case, I like to do C for toy cars. So I'm going to take Sam's car, and I'm going to do 53, and I'm going to take away 38, because we're trying to find a difference or a distance between the two. So I'd like you to pause the video and get out a whiteboard or your math notebook or binder, and I'd like you to try solving this problem on your own first. So pause the video and give it a whirl. Okay, so you might have been a student that tried to set up this problem like this. And then you said, my tens and ones here, I'm going to take 3 minus 8, and that's going to give me 5. And then I'm going to take the 5 minus 3, and that's going to get me 2. And my answer is 25, Mr. Stanley. I'm done. Please do not do subtraction this way yet, because unless you're efficient with getting the right answer, because 25 is not the correct answer for this problem. So let me show you another way to think about it. If you made that mistake, I am so happy to have your brain grow today, because I'm going to show you one way that I like to do it, and I like to think of it as a difference between the two boys. So I'm going to draw a number line to get started, and I'm going to put Max over here at 38, because he's my lower end on the number line, and then my higher end would be Sam, and he's got 53. So now I can try to find this missing jump, this big jump of 38 and 53. So if you've been tuned in and in the green zone lately, you've noticed that we've been doing a lot of jumping by friendly numbers, getting to friendly numbers, and then adding the rest. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take my 38, I'm going to add 2 to get to my friendliest number, which happens to be 40. And as you can see, I'm going to need to add some more to continue to get to 53. So I'm going to take my big jump here of 10 to get to my next friendly number, which happens to be 50. That's an easy jump. And then I'm going to add 3 more to get to my 53. But 53 isn't the answer. Remember, I'm trying to find out that big distance or difference. So I have 10 plus 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. So the answer to this story problem is 15, or C is equal to 15. So that's one way to think about the story problem. I like to think of it also, some of you like to do a distance or a difference. And then there's those students that like to do the takeaway method. And the takeaway method would be, oops, I erased my equation here, 53 minus 38. Oh, and be very careful too. Don't get these numbers switched, because if Sam has 53 and Max has 38, if it were switched, you could not take 53 away from 38. It doesn't work that way. If I only have 38 cars, you can't come and take 53 away. It's impossible. That would mean that I owe you cars. So we're actually taking away the 38 from the 53. So if you're thinking of that, then we'll just go ahead and draw our number line again. And we're going to start at 53 on the bigger end, because it is bigger than 38, and we're just going to take away 38. So we could take it away a couple of different ways. One way we could take it away is we could take away that 3 at first to get to our friendly number of 50. And then we could take away 30 if we wanted to, because we know we have to take away 30 at some point. So I'm going to take away 30, and that's going to give me 20. Now, out of the 8, I've already taken 3 away. 3 plus what number gives me 8? That's 5. So when I take away 5, that's going to give me my answer, and I end up at 15. So I have taken away 38 altogether to get to my answer of 15. So that's one way to think about it. And just one more way to think about this is we could take away much bigger jumps and then go backwards, which is unique. I've seen it done before, but it is easy to do, especially if you don't like that number 38 and you'd rather work with a more friendlier number to start with, and that would be 40. So I'm going to start at my 53 as usual, like I did in the last one, and I'm going to jump 40. It's a big jump. And that's going to take me all the way back to 13, because 53 minus 40 is 13. So I took away 2 more than 38, right? So I'm going to add 2 to get back to where I need to be, which is 15, just like we ended up with on the last one. So that's our answer. So that's just one other way that we can think about it. We can think of a distance or a difference as either trying to find the distance between these two numbers, or start at the larger number and take away the smaller number until we end up with our number here. So we're going to take a look at one more equation today before I give you some practice. And let's go on to that second one. So let's go here, and here we are. 72 third grade students and I'm just going to go ahead and write that in for us. We're going to go EWIS at the Eastwoods Intermediate School are going on a field trip. Hooray! 49 students have turned in their permission slips. How many students still need to turn in their permission slips? Oh, that's still need. That's really interesting there. So I'm thinking about that difference, right? So I have a number and I'm still needing more. I need to compare one number more than another. So this one, I see no numbers. Oh, wait, I think I read a number. The first number I read was 72. The second number that I read was 49. And I need to find out how many I still need to get to 72. So pause the video and see if you can come up with 1 or 2 equations that might help you solve this problem. Even though it says subtraction, there might be an addition way you could solve it as well. So we're dealing with 72 and 49 in the difference. Okay, now that you've unpaused the video, let's take a quick peek at some equations you could have come up with. 72 minus 49, and then I'm going to go with S for students because we're dealing with students' permission slips. So you'll be able to find it out that way, or maybe you want to think of, I know that 49 have already turned it in, plus S is going to get me to how many have already turned it in, because this is my unknown and I'm trying to get to 72, still needing that number. So even though I'm using a plus here, it really truly is a subtraction problem because I am taking away a difference between these two numbers. So let's just start with that. I love that difference problem, trying to figure out, here I am at 49. That's how many have to already turned it in, and I need to get to 72. So there are a couple of ways I can think about this. Once again, here we are, friendly number. I'm at 49, one more gets me to 50. And I'm just gonna take that big jump of 20 to get to 70 and add that quick 2 more at the end, which gives me a total of, and remember, I'm trying to total up how far this is, and that's gonna give me 20 plus 1 plus 2, and that's gonna be 22. So my answer is 22. S is equal to 22. Okay, so that's my distance way of thinking about it. There is another way to think about it, and that is the take away method on the number line and thinking about taking away those numbers. I like to think about taking away these numbers. Let's go back to blue. Okay, I'm going to start at 72 and I'm going to take away 49. So let's take away a little bit first to get to my friendly number. I take away 2 to get to 70. And then I can take that big jump if I want to, and I can take away 40. That's a big jump. But I think you can take away 40 from 70. That's not that difficult. And that's going to get me to 30. Okay. Now, so far I've taken away 42. 7 more is going to get me to 49. So I'm going to subtract that 7, and that's going to get me my total of 22. Okay, which is my answer, I think. Okay, so let's get going on another way, and that's that way which we take our, this is where we take our big jump. So the big jump could be 72, and then I could just take away 49 is really close to 50, and I could take this big jump. I could take away 50 right away, and that's going to give me to 40. Wait, oops, sorry, 22. Okay. If I take away 22, then I just need to know, all I have to do is add 1 more, and that's going to get me to my answer of 23. Did I say the answer was 22 earlier? Okay, sorry about that. That was 23. So 23 is going to be where we're at because it's 1 away from that 50 of 49. So hopefully you're getting some ideas on how to think in terms of subtraction, because we want to take away or find a difference when it comes to subtraction. Because sometimes if you try to line it up our traditional way of 72 minus 49, that's not going to work. There's no way you're going to be able to figure this problem out. Because if you look at it this way, 9 minus 2, which isn't a thing, you can't take 9 away from 2. And then 70 minus 40 is 30. You're going to end up with 37, not 23. That's nowhere near the difference between those two numbers. So today, we've got some practice for you today, and we also have some workplaces for you to play. So if you didn't get a chance to play Target 100, get going on playing Target 100. And then there are some books and reading problems for you today. Have a wonderful day growing your math brain, everybody, and we will see you next week.